this is Brianna Spies, and I'm here with Ardis Branch at her home in Picture Butte, and it is Wednesday, August 5th, 2015. So, Ardis, to start off, could you tell me when you were born?
January 7th, 1933, in Bow Island, Alberta.
And were your parents from Bow Island as well?
My mom was from Burdett, actually, and I lived there with my mom and my grandparents till I was 8. Then I came to Picture Butte. So I've been here, about 74 years, I guess.
So you lived in Burdett with your mom and grandparents?
Yeah, on a farm south of Burdett, yes. Mm-hmm.
And where was your dad from? Are you the only child in your family?
No, there are 3 of us now. My mom married when I was about 9 years old, I guess, 9 or 10, yes. And I had a brother and a sister.
Did the 3 of you get along pretty well?
Yes, pretty well.
What was growing up on the farm like for you?
Oh, I remember riding in the hopper of the combine during harvest time and walking with my grandma out to the pasture to bring in the cow for milking and turning the separator handle to things like that, chopping wood.
What type of farm was it that your grandparents had?
Just a grain farm, yes, yeah. That was the days of dry land in Burdett, so there were a lot of tumbleweeds around too.
Where did you go to school?
I started out at a little country school in south of Burdett called Sampson School. And I went from grade 1 to grade 3 there. And when we came to Picture Butte, I first went to Granite Falls, which was north of Picture Butte. And then I finished my schooling right in town here, yes. At that time, the high school was about 5 little buildings. You know, they moved the country schools in, and one for each grade, 9, 10, 11, and 12, and then the shop and home ec building.
So they moved the actual school buildings into town?
Yes, the little country schools that had closed down, yeah.
What was school like for you?
It was fairly easy for me, yeah. I love spelling and math were my 2 best subjects.
What would you do with your friends at recess at school?
Oh, we usually played ball or tag or anti-over or something like that.
How come your family moved to Picture Butte?
I guess just my mom wanted to get off the farm, I think, and she worked hard there, shoveling grain and everything, just like a man, so it was very hard for her.
Did your mom work after you moved into town?
No, not after she got married. Before that, she was doing housework, but and there was just us kids and to look after. My stepfather was a house mover.
What was the biggest change for you moving from Burdett to into town in Picture Buttes?
Well, Burdett was kind of lonesome because you're stuck out in the middle of nowhere, sort of, and once you move into town, you have your friends and neighbors, and
oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, in a small town, everyone helps each other out, so Picture Butte has always been a great place to live as far as we were concerned.
How would everyone help each other out?
Oh, I don't know, just, might bake something, and if you bake bread, you took a loaf to your neighbor, or
Do you still have a lot of chores at home after you moved into town?
yes, I had to get water from the cistern and bring in firewood and coal to, no such thing as central heating in those days.
What were your hobbies when you were growing up?
I don't know. I don't think I really had any hobbies that I can really think of. Did a lot of babysitting for people, and grade 9, I went to work in the restaurant after school on Saturdays to make some money, and so we were always quite poor, so I had to.
What sorts of memories do you have about growing up during the Depression?
Well, in those days, everyone was sort of the same. There wasn't rich people and poor people. We were all kind of in the same boat, it seemed like. And
did you find that people in town had a harder time than people on farms, or the opposite, or anything like that?
oh, I don't really know. Yeah.
How about during the war?
Well, my dad was in the stepfather was in the Air Force for a while, so he was gone, and that's all I really remember. I was not that old at the time, really, so.
Can you tell me about the friends that you had growing up?
Oh, well, I had lots of them, but they're all gone now. So, yeah, there was Celia Gillis and Barry Gillis, Noreen Gillis. There was a lot of Gillises around at that time, and I really can't remember too much about. School was always important to me, and
What would you do with your friends when you got together?
Oh, we always played outside, like, kick the can or tag or ball, or we always found something to do. And in the winter, we would go up to the lake up here and clean off the ice ourselves and then do some skating. And probably had more fun in those days than they do now, because everything is done for them. The ice is there ready to go.
So that was on the reservoir here?
Yes, yeah.
What was your favorite game to play?
Probably ball.
Baseball?
Mm-hmm. Softball, I guess it was. Yeah, softball, yeah. And as I got older, curling and now golf, I still golf at my age and enjoy it.
Was there a curling rink in town?
Yes, it was natural ice, and it was where the Fish and Game building is now, up by the lake. And natural ice, so sometimes you'd have to curl in the middle of the night if it happened to chinook, and you'd have to wait till the ice was ready again, so.
And would people bring food and that kind of thing to bonspiels, or?
Well, we had hamburgers, and people would, like my mom would make pies and that kind of thing, and they'd serve pie and coffee, and even if they had to curl in the middle of the night, they were there to do it.
Did you ever go to any of the dances around here?
Yes, when I got older, down in Kepke's Hall, which is now where the tire shop is.
And what were those like?
Oh, always fun. I love to dance, yeah. Mm-hmm.
What did you do after you were finished school?
I went to Garbutt Business College in Lethbridge. And I was a stenographer and bookkeeper. And while I was going to Garbutt Business College, I worked at CJOC from 5 to 9 in the evenings as a receptionist to have some spending money. I started working at Treasury Branch in Lethbridge when I first graduated, and then the Bank of Nova Scotia's secretary left here, and the manager talked me into coming to Picture Butte to the Bank of Nova Scotia, which at that time was down at the corner where the hotel is now. And during the time I worked there, then they moved to where they are now, but the building was very much smaller. And the house next door, that's where the bank manager lived in those days. And so I worked there until I got married in 1952, December.
So you lived in Lethbridge while you were going to school?
Yes, I did, yeah. Room and board, yes. Mm-hmm.
What was it like going from a kind of smaller community in Picture Butte to a city like Lethbridge?
Well, I'd sort of stuck to my own area. I lived on the north side where the college was, and I used to walk back and forth to school. And the family I lived with were very good to me, so it wasn't too big a change. And Lethbridge, of course, wasn't as big in those days as it is now. All the big stores and things weren't there.
Did you notice a difference in the community life?
Well, I just went to school and worked until I worked at CJOC, and then so I didn't do much besides maybe go to a movie once or twice a week or something, but that was about the extent of my entertainment when I lived in Lethbridge, yeah.
How come you decided to go to school?
Well, I wanted an education so I could work and support myself. My grandparents paid for me to go, so that's how I was able to go in the first place. So
where did you meet your husband?
In Picture Butte, probably at a dance to start with, yeah.
And how many kids did you have?
3, 2 boys and a girl.
Do they all live fairly close to here?
No, my oldest son lives in Ottawa, and my next son is head corporate chef at the Firestone restaurant in Lethbridge, and my daughter is a nurse in the emergency room in High River. I have 5 grandchildren and 2 greats.
Did you continue to work after you got married too?
Not right away. My husband was old-fashioned and didn't want his wife working, sort of thing, at the time. And then 1954, my first son was born, and then I guess I didn't start to work till after the second one was born, and then I worked part-time in the afternoons doing books, and from then on I had a job just about steady, so.
And did you just continue to work at the bank?
No, I did books during the campaigns I worked at the sugar factory in the office, and I did that for few campaigns, and then when I went to work half-time steady, it was at Barton Motors doing their books, and then we had our own business for a few years, and I did the books there. Then when we sold the business, I went to work for the town of Picture Butte in the office, and I was there until I retired.
What type of business was it?
It was the automotive business, yeah. Selling parts and that kind of thing, yeah.
Was that what your husband did?
Yes, yeah, he was a partsman, yeah. So.
What do you think has changed the most in Picture Butte since you moved here?
Oh my goodness. A lot more houses, and of course downtown there were all different businesses, and like where Leon Haig is now, that used to be the Atlas Lumber Company to start with, and then there was a little barber shop and the Red and White store and restaurants. They're all different now, the whole streets. And where the tire shop is, the post office used to be up on that corner. And what else? Well, all around town, it's all the buildings are different, and it's grown so much. Yeah, it's just a few hundred people at that stage, and
what do you feel are the most important things in life?
family and friends. Not material things like some people seem to think are so necessary.
Is your family pretty close?
Yes, yes.
What would you want people to remember about you and your life?
Well, just that I was a nice person, I hope.
Are there any stories from your childhood or growing up that you would want to share with your kids and grandkids and great-grandkids?
Oh, well, they've probably already been shared with them. I'm not sure some of them really believed the things we had to do in those days, but...
What kinds of things?
Well, like bringing coal in for the hauling water from a cistern, those kind of things. I mean, these days, kids don't know what that is.
Do you have lots of stories about outhouses, too?
Oh, Halloween, maybe? Yeah, they were not fun.
Were you ever the one doing the tipping?
Just once, I think, that I sort of give a hand.
Do you want to tell me about that time?
Well, I don't even remember what age I was when we were doing it, but I think I felt guilty afterwards.
What are you worried that people might forget about the past?
I'm not worrying about anything. Once I'm gone, it won't matter.
Do you have any advice that you would give to younger people?
Oh, just treat each other with respect and don't be a bully.
I think that's about all that I have for questions, so if there's anything else you want to say about your life, you can go ahead.
Well, I think I've just been very fortunate. I've had a nice family. I've remained pretty healthy, and for my age, I'm still able to golf, and I am finding that my yard is way too big because I have over half an acre here, which I'm thinking maybe I'm going to have to sell pretty soon and maybe move into the manor or somewhere like that. But the unfortunate part of that is I have a lot of friends over there and there's no room, so I keep worrying about one of them would have to be gone before I could move in. But I'm very fortunate. If I needed anything, my kids would be right here within hours to help me out, and I have a grandson getting married in October, and that will be the first one getting married, so I'm excited to be able to go to the wedding. And it will be at the Galt Museum too, so it's kind of exciting. No, I'm just happy to be above ground at this age and look forward to each day as it comes, yeah. Enjoy my friends and family and just feel real fortunate. So thank you.